Hi guys, Maikeru here. This is my Runescape 3 tips and tricks video number 6. In this video, I literally just showcase loads of different tips and tricks, some small, some big, just to help your gameplay in Runescape. So let's get right into this episode. The first tip I want to cover today is key binding area loot. So, if you're killing monsters in a personal slayer dungeon or you're doing anything like that, if you press escape, go to your settings, and you go to your controls, if you see where it says action bar, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of this section, the last option is area loot. I currently have area loot key binded to Q, so now when I hit the Q button, it opens up my area loot, then I can area loot whatever I need to with space, and I can continue to AFK. Really helpful and really nice whenever you're doing something that's super AFK and you don't want to pay too much attention. You can literally just hit Q space, loot what you need to, and get back to whatever else you were doing. The next tip is linking into the bank rework. For the bank rework, they've added filters down here. There's a couple of filters that are really helpful when you're trying to clean your bank and stuff like that. If you go to your filters, one is called cleanup, and for obvious reasons, it, gives you items that you might not want. Diango skilling outfits, for example, quest items, holiday items, and other Diango items are shown here, so you can clear your bank of stuff you never use. But there's other filters that are really good for cleaning your bank, such as tradable items. You can see all of the items you have that are tradable. So for example, if you've been doing a ton of Slayer and you have a lot of loot, it will show you everything that's tradable that you can sell. So if you want to sell a loot tab or something, you just literally search it by tradable items, sell all of them. And this also is pretty good for finding hidden gems that you might not have thought that you had, or tradable items that you could sell to get a little bit of money towards a big item you're saving up for. And the last one that I probably like the most is placeholders. A lot of times I'll accidentally withdraw items and have placeholders on while I'm selling them, and then there'll just be a placeholder of that item in my bank. This actually takes up a space in your bank, so make sure you remove the placeholders to save bank space. Obviously all of these ones that I have here are important things. I'm currently wearing this setup while killing stuff in my personal slayer dungeon, and I like to have a placeholder for my crystal triskies. But for example, if I didn't want that, I could just remove it right here. Really nice. I've shown the Slayer counter in a couple of tips and tricks videos in the past. You can enable this in your interface settings. But a couple of things that people don't actually know is if you click the task streak, it then swaps to the weakness. So you can see whatever you're doing's weakness. So if you get a Slayer task that you don't know whether you should mage or range, Glaciers obviously should be maged. You can also right click the little Slayer icon and you can switch it to Reaper. Then it will show you your Reaper tasks, your Reaper points, and your task streak there. You can also see both your Slayer or boss collection logs from this. So if you right click it when it's on the Reaper one and you go collection log, it will show you your boss collection logs. And it will always show you your favorited one first. So for example, if I was working on the next log, I can favorite the next log. So every time I open it, it will show me the next log. This also applies for the Slayer one. If you swap to the Slayer counter and you right click and you go to the collection log, it will show you your Slayer collection logs from right here. This saves going through loads of interfaces and stuff, and it shows you your favorited one first. My favorited one currently is the desert log, and I need that camel staff to complete it. Another tip that I can give you is that you can purchase whetstones. Whetstones literally cost 10k from the GE. These whetstones give you the same reduction to repair and armor as an armor stand in your house, but you can use them from anywhere. So what I have in my bank is like 20 whetstones that I'll just use on the item that I want to repair whenever I want to repair them. It will cost me 150k to repair my Cinderbanes, same price as the repair stand in my house, but I can do it right from the bank and boom, they are fully repaired and they're ready to use again. Saves a lot of time compared to going to your house and everything, and it only costs 10k like I said. This one's kind of a small tip and won't be used by everyone, but if you use Lodestones a lot, for instance, doing this Tavali method of making summoning pouches, teleporting to the Tavali Lodestone is quicker than running back. You can right click this little Lodestone icon on your minimap and go to your previous Lodestone with a right click. Instead of having to click the Lodestone network and finding the one that you actually want to do, you can just right click and go to the Tavali Lodestone again. And if you're farming a creature that, you keep banking for or whatever, this is actually really helpful. You don't have to open up the Lodestone system, anything like that, and you can get to your bank nice and easy, and it just makes for a smoother experience. Another tip that's more for Iron Men than main accounts is using the Yanil Hunter shop for some components. If you trade Alec, you can buy stuff like butterfly nets, noose wands, and teasing sticks from him. If we take a look at what they give, they have a high junk chance, but they give a lot of components. For instance, this noose wand gives 12 components with an 80% junk chance. It gives bladed and crafted parts, which are very commonly used in a lot of different items. It also gives precise and direct components rarely, which are also really beneficial. Then taking a look at the teasing stick, that gives base parts and blade parts. Again, base parts are another really good common material. This also gives sharp and dexterous components as the uncommon components rarely, and that is really awesome as well. 2 more components that are actually useful. Then when you look at the butterfly net, they give base, head and smooth parts, all used for different things, and they give heavy and dexterous components rarely. So just by disassembling these 3 different items, you can get a decent amount of common and uncommon components. As you can see, I just got a precise component right there. And by the time you've disassembled an inventory, the stock has replenished in the store, so you can just continuously buy it over and over again. A cool thing that they've updated with familiars now, instead of having to right click your familiar and renewing it down here, you can actually just click the pouch, just left click the pouch from your inventory, and it completely renews the timer on your familiar and the familiar itself. This is really nice for renewing your pack yaks if you're staying places for a longer time, or just renewing familiars in general. It's just one of those quality of life things that is just nice. It doesn't change the gameplay tons, but it's just a little thing that helps. The last tip I want to give is actually kind of cool. If you're doing something like God Wars Dungeon 2 that's very easy to leave the instance and re-enter, you can actually kill way more bosses per hour by leaving and re-entering to force spawn them. On the fastest speed, a boss typically takes around 30 seconds to respawn, but if you leave and rejoin, it will spawn within the first 5 seconds of rejoining. And leaving and rejoining literally only takes a couple of seconds in itself as well. So instead of waiting 30 seconds, you can get it done in 5 to 10 seconds and have it respawned. Cutting at least 20 seconds of a respawn timer off every single trip in an hour, that's going to allow you to kill around 5, maybe even 10 more bosses, depending on how quickly you're killing them. This is how people get their 60 kills an hour at God Wars Dungeon 2. And that'll be it for this tips and tricks video. As always, if you have any tips and tricks of your own, let me know down in the comment section. Hopefully at least one of these tips helped you. Best of luck with your RuneScape games. Give the video a like if you did enjoy, and until next time, see ya.